On the west side of Manhattan, strolling along the Hudson River, seeing great views of New Jersey and great views of everything else. I'm the NYC Traveler, and we're in the Hudson River Park. Welcome to Hudson River Park on the west side of Manhattan, a public park operated by the Hudson River Park Trust that was established in 1998 to build and manage a park along the Hudson River. The piers were mostly commercial at that point, but as times and businesses have changed, many were not used much anymore. One of the piers is used for cruise lines that sail out of New York. However, this is not something new. People might be surprised that the first passenger steamship, the Claremont, sailed from Pier 45. Pier 54 would go down in history as the one that received passengers rescued from the Titanic when the Carpathia docked there in 1912. In fact, it was likely that the Titanic would have docked at Pier 59. Hudson River Park's plans rose from the failed efforts of Westway, when it was thought that a new West Side Highway was going to be built. The old elevated train line had been demolished, with the remains eventually becoming the High Line, an elevated park. But Westway died a political death, and plans for a new park emerged. Construction started in 1994, and technically the park is not 100% complete, but it's almost there. The park is part of the Hudson River Greenway, which incorporates many of the parks along the Hudson River. In turn, the Greenway is also part of the Manhattan Greenway Trail, which in turn is part of the Empire State Trail, which means you can ride a bicycle or hike from the tip of Manhattan all the way up to Albany or west to Buffalo. And if you continue on the road from Albany, you'll end up in Canada. Well, that's a lot, so we'll just tour Hudson Park. Local New Yorkers know that we have a variety of water activities, but tourists are often surprised at how much a seaside town New York can be. But there's lots of seasonal water activities, such as kayaking, canoeing, rowing, and sailing, all along the Hudson River, and you can do it through Hudson River Park. The kayaking is currently free when it's in season, allowing New Yorkers to navigate the Hudson River without having to go upstate or out to Long Island or New Jersey. There are many grassy spots to take in some sun. Some are limited to the two-legged beings, but for our four-legged friends, don't fret. Check out the map for the dog runs that are in the park. For those who are not into water sports, the map will guide you to skate parks, tennis courts, playgrounds with water sprays, basketball courts, baseball clinics, batting cages, beach volleyball, soccer, mini golf, and more. Whatever you can legally do whenever you find a plot of grass. Between West 17th and 23rd Streets is Chelsea Piers, a sports and entertainment complex. For fees and charges, it offers sports, day camps, events, programs, and full daycare and preschool. Although it is in the park, it is not technically part of Hudson River Park. Classes, clinics, leagues, and private lessons are also available. You can also rent out spaces for private events. But if the prices are too steep at Chelsea Piers, you can still get a good workout along the park. Walking, running, cycling, skating, and more. Pay attention to the guidelines along the way, when the lines and the lanes are for pedestrians only, or when the lanes are for joggers and cyclists, and when you need to walk your bike. For the younger park-goers, playgrounds are waiting for them. Coming soon will be a science play area near Pier 26, near the playground at Pier 25. On hot days, cool off at Chelsea Waterside Playground near 11th Avenue and West 23rd Street. Along the way, there will be plenty of places to refresh yourself, particularly during the spring, summer, and fall. Some of the restaurants are open year-round, so even if the wind off the Hudson is freezing, you can warm up and eat along the way. Especially interesting are the eateries on actual boats or barges, giving you a taste of sea life. Cruisers spending the day in port won't have to go far if they don't want to venture into other areas of the city. The park goes past several New York tourist attractions, including the Circle Line tour ships that can go all the way around Manhattan, and the Intrepid, the Air, Space, and Sea Museum that can become extremely popular, so make sure you have tickets. Or they can just walk downtown using the Freedom Tower as their guide. Like any other park, there's plenty of landscaping to add to the beauty of the park. On the website, you'll be able to see what's in bloom so that you know what to look for. Also, there are works of art that you can look for as you walk along the way. One of the reasons why this park was built was because folks were concerned about the environment if the original plans for the West Side Highway went through. Apparently, oysters used to be plentiful back way in the day. Early settlers ate them so much that even in 1715, a law was passed banning harvesting oysters in months that did not have the letter R, meaning May to August. Even then, it was known that oysters needed the warmer months to reproduce and to have its population grow. Oyster bars and barges popped up like fast food stands. Despite the attempts to conserve them, the oyster population had been depleted by 1920, and the last oyster bed closed in 1927. Overharvesting and pollution were the main causes. Now, there's an effort to restore the cleanliness of the rivers, including the East River as well, and oysters have started to return, although they're not edible yet. There is a project called the Billion Oyster Project. It started in 2014, and it aims to have 1 billion of the species as soon as it can. There's even a spot on Governor's Island over on that other riverside that you can visit that has information about this project. Along the way, There will be kiosks with flyers and brochures about all of the programs and events that are held in Hudson River Park. There is also information on its website so that you can plan your day. But sometimes the best thing to do is to not plan at all. You don't have to walk the entire length, which goes from Piers 25 to 97, just part of it. The Hudson River Park's sister parks are the Battery Park City Esplanade to the south and Riverside Park to the north, which technically starts at West 72nd Street. But after Pier 97, which is somewhere near West 57th Street, they're starting to call that area, that in-between section, Riverside Park South. It's no matter. It's all part of the Manhattan Greenway and the Empire State Trail. Here are a few more stats about the park. The park is 4.5 miles long and has 550 acres. This makes it the second largest park in Manhattan after Central Park. If it were an official New York City park, it would be number 10. The park sustains itself through rents from the commercial tenants, revenues from the concession stands, donations, and grants. The park is not one long straight path. There are plenty of places to walk out along the piers, places that jut out onto the water for more views. At certain spots, you can look downtown and see the Statue of Liberty and/or uptown and see the George Washington Bridge. Directly across is New Jersey, with towns such as West New York, Weehawken, and Jersey City. It was across this river that both Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton rode across for their infamous duel in 1804. Also across the river is the Hoboken Terminal, which still has its old name, Lackawanna, since it was built by the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. It is a famous landmark, and it's a historical location. It was used in films such as Funny Girl. On the New York City shores, within the park, you'll pass Little Island Park, near Pier 55. Take the footbridges across to the park because it is constructed on water on what they call pods. The park has several ways to enter. You can go in through the streets and into the park in many places. Too many to list here. So don't worry, once you're in, you don't have to stay in, and you don't have to start at either end. I'm the NYC Traveler, and we've been strolling along Hudson River Park in Manhattan, New York.